In today's video, we're going to talk about big investing ideas in artificial intelligence for 2022, coming up after the intro. What's up, guys? This is JC and welcome to the Wealth Engineering channel. I create content so that you can learn how to make, keep, and multiply money. And how do we do that, guys? By investing in crypto, stocks, real estate, and business. And in today's video, we're going to talk more about basically on which industry should you be looking into for your stocks and crypto investments by using the documents available from ARK Invest, Big Ideas for 2022. We're going to dive deep into it. And this is going to be one of many videos that I'll be doing in this topic. So if these are things that are interesting you, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and click the bell. Let's get into it. Let's just dive deep. All right, guys. So AI could actually increase tenfold, more than $100 trillion in equity market by 2030, according to ARK Invest. This is what they have to report. And actually, it covers many different areas in this niche. We're talking about mobile connected device, Internet of Things, AI, artificial intelligence, of course, and cloud computing, which all of them combined can create a lot of opportunities for investing, because you can focus on one aspect or all of them at once. But definitely cloud computing and AI is definitely the way to go, in my opinion. Diving deeper into this document, we find out that, hey, artificial intelligence training costs appears to be declining at more than twice the rate of Moore's law. Performance is increasing significantly. So first, cost is reducing at a faster rate than they anticipated, and productivity, of course, will increase because AI is much better at doing certain things than we are as human beings. So by automating the task of knowledge workers, AI should boost productivity and lower unit labor costs significantly. Our research suggests that the market capitalization of AI hardware and software companies could scale at roughly 50% annualized rate. Guys, this is huge, guys. Imagine if you just let your investment sit, 50% compound annual rate growth. So again, imagine you let your investment sit and it grows every year 50%. So the first year it grows 50%, then the year after that it goes 50% from the previous number you had, right? It gets compounded, and that's how you multiply money, right? You let the compound effect work for you. Increasing from 2.5 trillion and 87 trillion by 2030. So again, there is a lot of opportunity to make money, guys. This niche is one of the fastest growing niche in this decade, and anything you go and you invest in it might actually be a good move. But you got to make sure you do your due diligence, make sure that the company has the team that can execute on those promises. And again, lower the cost, more companies will be able to do. I will try to look for one platform that facilitates the adoption of AI for many different branches. I'll give you a random example, right? So let's say WordPress. So WordPress, they create a website template so that you can drag and drop and create your own website. Now, many people are using this as a way to launch their website online, as opposed to be coding, right? HTML, C++, well, not necessarily for a website, but CSS and all that. People used to go on the back end and create HTML coding to have a website showing online. Now, with drag and drop templates from WordPress, every industry can actually launch their own website using this ecosystem. So WordPress was the ecosystem, the launching pad that helped many different companies launch in the internet, right? So you should be looking into a company that is doing something similar on the artificial intelligence. There's going to be that ecosystem that's going to allow many other companies to launch their product on artificial intelligence. And if you find that investment, then this is the place you should look into. Make sure you do your due diligence. Make sure the team can execute. Make sure they have a good tracking record. But that's definitely a mindset you can have to set yourself in the right direction. Diving deeper into this, it says Wright Law's model that caused decline of AI hardware and software. So basically, this graph here, it says predicted dollar per AI RCU units to measure the productivity, basically how much information can be processed. And we're talking about like 100,000 millions over time. And look at the cost. The cost is dropping as we're getting more and more data being produced. So there's no we don't know when we will be around this level, but I can promise you, hey, if they're estimating that numbers for the next 10 years towards 2007, like 2027, 2028, 2029, then that's where we're going to hit these regions. And these are interesting things to keep in mind. AI could automate the task of knowledge workers. These are white-collar jobs, guys, and boost productivity. Our research suggests that 2030, AI will increase the output of knowledge workers by 140%. So that means for every artificial intelligence that is replacing one worker, it can produce 140% more than what a worker can do at its full capacity. And we're talking about software developers, accountant, bookkeepers, lawyers, paralegal, office and admin support. These are a lot of jobs, guys. A lot of jobs that are being threatened. And look at this. They're estimating that the AI can perform productivity multiplier or up to like 40x in some level. Paralegal and office jobs, absolutely. I agree 100% with this graph. I predict something very similar as well. And when I do mention it, no one believes me. No one believes me when I mention things like this. But hey, I hope you guys are taking notes. If you are working in office job, you're working in law, you're working in accountant, you're working in even as a software developers, guys, even as the one who's coding the AI, your job is still at risk. And many other ones, many other jobs will be affected as well. Check this out, for example, OpenAI Codex already can complete 35. OpenAI Codex already can complete 37% of code task, right? So basically, they're teaching this OpenAI how to code. And based on the task that they're giving it, 37% can be done by the robot. And the minute this 100% task can be done, it's going to code its own software. And at this point, the program is going to work relentless to create softwares, and it's unique, the singularity point at this point, right? AI could accelerate productivity gains, more and more data. You see 2021, AI software spend and labor output increase. So basically, companies are not really investing that much, but by 2030, they're expecting they were going to increase a lot more, which average out to 40% annual growth rate, compounded annual growth rate, right? And then we don't know which year that is, but this is what they're estimating that the total market can be for AI software spend and labor output. If automation boosts productivity by 140%, AI software could increase the output of global knowledge workers at an annual rate of 9% to $97 trillion in 2030. So whichever way you look at it, guys, these AI are estimating to produce large numbers. Again, these numbers are not 100% accurate, but these are the projections based on the law, on the Moore's law and Wright's law. Now, what is the Wright's law? Wright's law, there is a difference between Moore's law and Wright's law, right? And Moore's law focus on the cost as a function of time. So cost as a function of time is Moore's law, meaning over time you have more products, more supply of let's say a chip that reduce the price on the market because there is more supply. Great. Especially it states that the number of transistors on a chip could double every year, right? So that's exactly what the Moore's law states. As an electronic engineer, I know this law very well. Whereas Wright's law, on the other hand, forecasts the cost as a function of unit produced, right? So one of them measures cost as a function of time, and another one measures cost as a function of units produce, right? So basically, it's more like a manufacturing measurement. How fast can you produce something like this? How fast can it start delivering results? Measured over the decade of 2015, ARK found that a price forecast based on Wright's law was 40% more accurate than one based on Moore's law. Interesting. That is very interesting to know. So that means they're better at predicting innovations and better at predicting the future projections based on this law, because it's a function of productivity, unit produced, right? As opposed to units of time. And they're saying that it's definitely more accurate to them. So going back to this slide here, when it says like, informed by Wright's law, we can estimate that AI relative computing unit, that's what RPU stands for, that number here, relative compute unit production cost could decline at 39%. So compute unit production costs. And to add more into it, AI software should boost demand for AI hardware, obviously. But yeah, this is exactly right. And what are AI hardware? The Tesla cars, the Tesla robots. These can be considered as Tesla AI hardware. And the better the software becomes, we're going to have that urge to put them on a hardware that can handle that, right? So software as a service revenues, cost of goods sold 25%, gross margin. Every number you look, they're just skyrocketing up. Spending on global AI software and hardware could be more than triple the consensus expectation by 2030. Again, all of these graphs are based on what they're called the Wright's law. The Wright's law is actually a mathematical formula that predicts, again, a cost based on a unit produced. And basically, every number that they have, guys, it's always like a hockey stick graph shooting up, right? Shooting up. Again, more data, same numbers again. And lastly, by 2030, AI software companies could produce $14 trillion $14 trillion in annual revenue collectively. These, the resulting $4 trillion in free cash flow could relate over $80 trillion in enterprise value. Jesus. 80 trillion in enterprise value, guys. Now we barely have companies that are worth 1 trillion right now, and there's only a handful of companies that are worth this much money, $1 trillion, up for 2.3 trillion in 2021, generating returns about a 48% at a compound annual rate during the next 9 years. And by 2030, AI hardware companies could produce 1.7 trillion in annual revenue collectively. The resulting 350 billion in free cash flow could create 7 trillion in enterprise value, generating returns of 57% at a compound annual rate during the next 9 years. Now, guys, look at this, guys. Some companies are doing both, like Tesla are doing both the AI software, one of the best company in the world when it comes to artificial intelligence, and they're also doing the hardware. So that means their market share in this industry is going to be huge. Tesla is not a company you should sleep in. Then we should definitely, I predict they can be even way bigger than Amazon. So we're going to live into that. I actually had a bet that Tesla can be bigger, twice as big than Amazon. And man, oh man, the numbers are lining up. With that said, guys, thank you for your time. That's all I had ready for you. The moral of the story is artificial intelligence are growing very high. A lot of predictions are being done for 2030. These are all projections. It doesn't mean that it's going to play exactly like that, but it gives you a macro aspect perspective of what's going on in the entire niche of artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, right? So once you understand that, then you can start looking into which companies are working towards those goals, and you can choose the best, right? If you find companies that are doing good, that they have good financial statement sheets, they have a good team, they have some good experience. Or if you don't want to know doing all the search, just invest in Tesla, because right now when I'm reading this, it's kind of like I'm reading a description for Tesla without saying the word Tesla. So make sure you check Tesla out, because Tesla is covering a lot of those artificial intelligence goals, and their projections on how they plan on attacking the labor market fits right into this projection right here. So with that said, we'll meet on the next video and so on.
Hey, yeah, it's all about wealth engineering. Might be something that you're not used to. It's okay, cause I'm here to introduce you to concepts. Time to grow and make big moves. All about crypto, come see. Stocks and business, yes indeed. Got the info that you need.